let this chaotic world burn you out, please. My name's Shveya and this is the Tap series. Sometimes taking a break is binge watching your favorite show on Netflix. Other times it's more introspective and is about finding time to pause, journal, and check in with yourself. Today's video on the Take a Break series is about creating structure in your morning routine, which is kind of funny because structure has been such a new concept for me. I was such a go with the flow kind of person. Like, I prided myself on being go with the flow, and so I never really had a morning routine, didn't really feel the need to. And it's only recently that I really started to implement having a routine in my day-to-day remote life, and it's helped a lot. So the first thing that most of my videos start with is checking in with yourself, doing a self-assessment. So the same thing applies to this. If you don't have a structure but you want one, you have to ask yourself why you don't have a structure. Is it your mindset? Like I said before, I used to think I was a go with the flow kind of person, and so I didn't need a morning routine. I didn't need a bedtime routine because I knew generally what I needed to do. So I would just kind of do it. Do you think that having a morning routine is restrictive or like too rigid? Or is it the lack of structure because of lack of resources? Everybody's different, you know? Some people need an accountability partner, somebody in their life that can help them maintain structure. Maybe you're that person, or maybe you just need like an agenda, like a physical agenda. I have one that I love. In the first video that I made, I talk about 2 different ways to organize your day. So if that's what you're in need of in terms of structure, I would check that out. But yeah, just ask yourself like, okay, why am I against having structure, or why don't I have structure right now? I know for me last year, I had a lot going on personally, and it just wasn't really a priority. I didn't think that I could structure my day because my days were so unpredictable, you know? And so it felt kind of counterproductive to be like, let me map out what I'm gonna do today when that can all change. What I'm finding is even if things do change, just having a like skeleton of certain things that you do every morning as like a ritual, it does really help. Another thing that you can ask yourself when you're self-assessing is, who controls my time? I remember in university, at one point in university, I was working 3 jobs at the same time. I was working at the local movie theater, I was working as an assistant manager in a retail store, and I was a stage crew member for the concerts and like welcome week events at my university. And when I tell you, being in university and working 3 jobs is insane. And if I could go back, I've seen this tweet a lot, like I would start saving money in kindergarten, but that's besides the point. I worked 3 jobs, and at the beginning, again, being a very go with the flow kind of person, was like telling all my employers like, okay, this is my school schedule, this is when I'm in class. Outside of that, like, I'm open. But what you learn in those situations is that you can't just allow everybody else the control of your time. You have to tell job number 1, okay, these are the days and times I can work. Job number 2, these are the days and times I can work. Job number 3. And within that, also prioritizing your needs, like not just when I was at school, not just studying, but also having a social life, also being able to sleep comfortably. So all those things I learned in that situation because it was exhausting, and I quickly learned that you are really in control of your time. If you're in a situation where you're telling employers or friends or anyone like, oh, just like call me whenever, or I'm pretty open, even if you don't have anything going on, like create a system to where you can block off time for different things. If you're not in control of your own schedule, it's really hard to create structure in your routine. The second thing I would say when it comes to creating structure in your routine is setting boundaries. I feel like this comes up in almost every single video, but boundaries with yourself and boundaries with other people. So with yourself, for example, with my routines, I don't actually have like a nighttime routine right now, but one of the things that I try to do or would like to do and fail every single day is going to bed by like, I don't know, like 10:30, 11 the latest. And then every day around 10:30, I'll be reading something or watching something or doing something. And I'll just be like, I know I said I wanted to go to bed at this time, but this show's really good and I'm just gonna keep going. Or I'm really into this project that I'm working on, so not gonna happen. And what happens is you start to make, not excuses, but like you start to justify to yourself not holding yourself accountable. So you start to not honor your own boundaries, and then that shows up in everyday life. If you don't even honor the boundaries that you make to yourself or the goals that you make to yourself, it's going to be really hard to stick to boundaries that you set with other people. So how to create structure is work on really fine-tuning those things that you tell yourself, like, oh, I really want to go to bed at this time, or oh, I really want to drink enough water a day, or oh, I really want to work out 3 times a week, or whatever it is. Honor it, because that is structure. I didn't have structure, and because of personal stuff, I didn't have a routine set up, but I knew that I needed an anchor. I knew that I needed something to anchor me. And so I think that that's really what structure does, is it anchors you and it gives you a sense of purpose and pause in a way that flexibility doesn't provide. Like flexibility or just being too go with the flow can just create a lot of confusion. So the next thing I would say in terms of creating structure in a routine is to start small. I know that a lot of people say this often, like start small with your goals, but start small with your structure. Throughout my day, there will be times where I don't have anything booked. And I remember when I first got my agenda, I was thinking, that's so bad. Like, I can't leave this much space. Like, I'm not being productive, or I need to fill it. I need to fill it with something, you know? Like, every minute of my day has to be filled with something. And I think that what leaving gaps does is it allows life to do what life does, which is be unpredictable and create chaos sometimes. And when you have those gaps, it's easier to like push things down, do them later in the day, or start them earlier to accommodate for whatever changes happen. So I would definitely say, don't feel like you need to cram your day or your routine and jam pack it and get everything done in one go. Like, it's okay to break things up. It's okay to start small. I also wanted to mention, in terms of me feeling last year like I needed an anchor, this book that we're reading in the book club right now, which is the 5 archetypes, is actually really on point when it comes to me, my self-care, and the things that I need and the things that I'm drawn to when it comes to self-care routines. In that book, when I did my little quiz, I was a water archetype primary, which basically means that like I like to think about things, I tend to overthink sometimes, and I'm very, like I mentioned, like I'm cool with going with the flow. I'm not very like regimented. I need more solitude. I need to be with my thoughts. Like, that's like what I need in order to feel good. But what happens with people who are comfortable with pausing is sometimes you pause too much and you need to get going, which is why for me having a routine, having a structure is really helpful, because it's like the opposite of my innate behavior, which is like sit and pause and be. It's like, okay, no, get some structure in your day. So I would recommend getting that book. It's called The 5 Archetypes, and do the little assessment. I also know there's quizzes online, but the book is really thorough, so I just really enjoyed it. And see what your primary archetype is, see what kind of self-care practices would actually benefit you, because maybe making a structured routine is not really helpful for you, and you wouldn't feel fulfilled, and you would actually be more stressed out. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I just thought that it was really funny that the book was like, this is what you should do. You should create a morning routine. You should create structure. You should have rituals. For me personally, and I was already implementing those things because last year I just felt like that's what I needed. Start experimenting with different resources. I know I tried to have the apps where you write in your to-do lists or you write in your morning routines and it gives you alerts, but I'm not really connected to my phone in that way, so it didn't really motivate me to get things done or try, like I just didn't really respond to it. But personally for me, getting a physical agenda helped me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for coming along to Tab, and I will catch you in the next one.